I'm Gary Russell. Thank you all for coming tonight. A couple things. One, I'm happy to say we do have our Vice President in Education Lead, Crosby Allison. Stand up, Crosby, say hello. Replacing Brenda Moore, who's going to be on tour through this great nation in her RV soon. So we wish Brenda the best. Next announcement, some of you may have seen, we have a new website. So we kind of brought us into the 21st century. Like all websites, like all new things, there could be a couple glitches here and there. If you do spot anything, please let one of us know, and we will take care of it pretty quickly. It's not hard to update things, and we're still bringing over things from the last website up to this one, but it's a lot more powerful and flexible, give us a lot more that we can do in the future. Also, what's new, or I should say coming soon, yes?
One side, you're right.
Oh, I'm
yeah.
right in the middle.
Yes.
Okay. I don't look good in the light, huh? Okay. Go to the light. We will soon have one or two smart televisions in the Learning Center in the workshop, inspired by Paul here in Broadband. We're going to be teaching a class on, well, I'm already teaching a class on streaming. So we're going to keep that going and just sort of follow behind what's going on in Broadband so that we're all comfortable when it's here and we know how to load apps on our TVs and select channels and select our favorite sports packages and things like that. If everything goes well, we'll have a smart TV in the workshop as well, so that if you want, you can come in and play with it and get a little experience and get some help from the supervisors, okay? A huge thank you to all of our volunteers who work in the PC Club. They are the engine for this club, and we surely appreciate all they do. We got a great team, and I said this before, but I'm just thrilled to be part of it now, and they do a great job for us. We have a kind of a unique raffle tonight, right? I can say this? Yeah, it's a big one. I'm going to hold you in suspense, but it's not the usual small ones. We have one big one for you, and we'll do that again in June. So if you don't win tonight, come again in June. Okay, before I turn it over to Paul, I got a couple folks that I want to thank and say, let them say a few things. Barbara? Miss Barbara? If you don't, no, you don't have to applaud. Come up here, we'll applaud you. Barbara? Yes, Barbara has just, I'm going to let her tell you, I am so proud. We killed it this year. She killed it this year on the tax program. Phenomenal effort by the volunteers and Barbara and the leaders of that. Just amazing program for this community, and we're sure happy to have her associated with the PC Club.
Good evening. I'm just going to make this really short. Let me see a show of hands on how many tax returns that we prepared for people in this room. Thank you. So we are going to cross 1,400 tax returns this year. We thank you and a special thank you goes out to our team. We had 56 volunteers this year who put in 6,000 hours, and we listened to all your stories and all your, why can't you just use last year's numbers? And we said no. But what I'd like to just make one announcement here, I don't know if you are aware of this, but starting in 2026, the IRS is going paperless. Means no checks in, no checks out. So what we're going to, there's a team of us this summer that are going to get together, and we are going to hold classes on how to set up your IRS account and your Social Security account using Identify Me. Anybody who has gone through that process, it's a nightmare. but we are going to share that, so when you come in next year to do your taxes, you will be able to get onto your IRS account, and you will be able to print out whatever it is you need to print out from IRS to Social Security, which is what we send most people home with. So, anyway, again, I'd like to have a big round of applause for some of our volunteers who volunteered for this program with us. And we will be preparing taxes throughout the summer, so if you didn't get to it, we'll do it. And we'll also be recruiting volunteers for next year too. So if you're interested, email us at taxes@pcclub.org. Okay, thank you for participating.
Thank you, Barbara. Phenomenal effort. Okay, next I want to reintroduce Crosby to come up and talk about the Learning Center and the education program. We have a few of our instructors are here in the audience today. We're adding classes all the time, and my usual request, if there's anything you want to hear about, no, I'll let him say it, and I'll add on at the end. Here we go.
Thanks, Gary. Well, it's a pleasure to be here, and my predecessor. Just be a little closer. Oh, like this? Oh, okay. Makes all the difference. Anyway, my predecessor, Brenda Moore, has done a splendid job, and now she is taking her well-deserved leave of absence, and I will be hoping to fill in for her in due course. Still coming up to speed. We have an exciting array of things going on, though, as you're well aware, thanks to Brenda. Many new classes going on, and some of the old favorites. We have the pleasure of Excel and all the things you can do with Google that you might not have thought of yet. And most particularly the smart TV effort that Paul will be telling more about in the broadband realm. We also have a new addition to class lineup, some of the GRF folks who have been willing to present on the background and the scheduling and intrigue that goes along with the Golden Rain Foundation Trust. So look forward to hearing more about that in coming months. But we are wide open to your questions in order to fill out the blanks of what might otherwise be a dull and boring summer for you. So please tune in to the PC workshop and look us up on the web, and we'll have many more classes to look forward to. Any questions at the moment? Oh, my title, it's King, actually. That's right. So anyway, thanks all for coming.
We're at that point now, so sit back, relax, and give it up for Paul's going to give us an update on broadband. Thank you.
My name is Paul Ortiz. I'm General Manager of Broadband Services. I also am manager for your Village Television, which I hope you watch. I hope you enjoy our movies and a lot of our shows. The PC Club show, actually, presentation is on Village Television on a regular basis. And then I also manage your cable advertising, which you'll sometimes see commercials from dentists and doctors and home care and people like that on the cable networks like CNN, Fox News, ESPN. We also manage that and have a wonderful production staff that puts those commercials together for you. I've been working here a really long time. I mean, some of you probably were in college still, so it's just, it's been a wonderful career, and I thank you all for the opportunity to be here. And it's been a challenging couple of years. So this is what the coaxial system looked like in the rebuild in 1999. We tore up all your streets, we dug up all your common areas, we had residents fall into trenches, we had giant reels of conduit and cable throughout the community. Fortunately, we aren't going to make you go through that again, because we had some very good luck and some wisdom when they built the system in '99. So that orange it looks like pipe. It's actually just plastic conduit. It's kind of a hard polymer. That is put throughout your community empty for the last 25, almost 26 years now. So what we plan to do is build your new fiber network and push all that new fiber through your empty spare conduit. There will be some shoveling, no trenching. So that's, it saves the community millions of dollars in labor, disruption, and everything that comes along with a project this big. Remember this car? It hasn't changed. You guys are still driving it. You still have another 18 months. And hopefully the engine will last. This is your 1999 Camry. That is what the current plant is for you. It's, it's got 175,000 miles. It really should be put aside. But we're going to let it run for a couple more years until we get this new plant built. This is what we are trying to overcome right now. You have an aging infrastructure. They just don't even make parts for a lot of the equipment we have. We're fortunate. Our average employee in Broadband has been with us nearly 17 years. Some have been with us 30 years. That gives us our average pretty high. But they know how to fix cable, equipment. They know how the plant works. But no one manufactures these things anymore. They don't even make set-top boxes anymore. Any of the set-top boxes we have in the community right now, Motorola does not make those boxes anymore. We tried to acquire as many as we could when we heard that, and eventually that supply will go away. Next one. So you can see, a lot of the components in our system are end of life. That's EOL, and there's no support from the manufacturer. I just shared that with you. It's all scarce. We have a guy, his name is Hank Deming. He's been here for 25 years. I call him Doc from Back to the Future, because that guy can fix anything. And thank God for him, because he's helped us in a lot of situations. Next one. How many of you on January 5th got a chance to watch the Golden Globes? Not on our system, you didn't. It was out. But how many of you football fans? The Vikings and the Detroit Lions, it was a great game. You didn't see it, did you? Yeah. The broadcast channels were down. So we had a major failure at our head end at Campo Verde. An old piece of equipment died. Fortunately, our head end engineer lives down the street on the other side of El Toro. He came in, started working on it. We called our support people, and it was some 20-year-old kid. He had no idea what we were talking about. Had never seen the equipment that we're referring to. 5 hours later, we got it up and running. That just tells you, the vulnerability that we have driving this old car on the road. I'm not taking that car to Vegas or to New York City, I'll tell you that. The next one. And then this happened, right? Soon after, we had the wildfires. So back then, KBC, their towers up Mount Wilson. Well, if you remember, the fire was really reaching those antennas at that time. And everybody thought, well, it burned the antenna. Well, no, they lost power at their location. Well, they lose power, they can't broadcast that signal to us, and we can't give it to you. So that's another older technology that we're trying to resolve. Next one. So like cable is reactive, right? So all these experiences, what happened first? You called your neighbor and said, hey, is your TV out? I can't see the Golden Globes. And then like 500 more of you did it, and then 1,000 more of you did it, and our customer service people are going through the roof because actually the January 5th was a Sunday, and we don't have customer service on Sundays, but the phone was blowing up. So, this is all reactive. What we want to do is be proactive. So what we talk about is fiber. Fiber is more of a proactive technology. Even cable, we have to rely on energy, power, electricity out in the field. How many live over in those, we call them the white elephants over there on the way to Laguna Beach, those white kind of mausoleum homes? They're really nice. 1,000 of them had no power on Friday night because Edison had an outage, because we need power to run our cable system. Next one. PON is a passive What I mean by passive is we have electricity at the head end. We don't touch electricity until we get to your house. So unless your power is out at your house, you're going to have signal throughout. So we don't need to worry about Edison having their meters down. We don't have to worry about Mrs. Jones or Mr. Jones running over a transformer with the car. We had this happen the other day with a pedestal. We have light, and that's really all it is. What I want to show you, I'll pass this around. That is fiber, and that is 5 strands of fiber, and is thinner than your hair. And that one piece of fiber, we intend to service 32 homes with. And it literally is thinner than your hair. So what we're going to do is bring that fiber network into your home, and then you're going to connect to Wi-Fi devices, which you already have in your home. We're just going to do it better and faster for you. So we have 52 miles right now, but soon we're going to go fiber to your home. So right now we go fiber to the curb. Curb gets turned into copper, radio frequency, goes into your home as coaxial cable. We're going to bring fiber all the way to your home and put what we call an optical network terminal and your router, and you're just going to have Wi-Fi throughout your house. You won't have to worry about, hey, I want the TV over here, so I have to move the outlet over here, or I want it in that nice little green room that you maybe have now. You'll just be able to put it, if it's a smart TV, you'll be able to put it anywhere. And even, I'll be talking to you a little about this as we get into the video product. Even if you have a dumb TV, we have a solution for that as well. As long as it has an HDMI input, we can make it work. Next one, please. That's the spare conduit I was telling you about. So myself and a few of our wonderful staff in Broadband have spent the last 2 years finding this in the ground. Again, I said, this was put in the ground 26 years ago. And about 15 to 20 years ago, the then director of Broadband was asked, are you guys ever going to use this? And he said, no. So our landscaping crew just covered them up with ground cover and mulch and ground flowers or whatever else. Luckily, we have a map and we're going back and it's, where's Waldo? So we go looking for these spare conduit. And we've been successful. We have about 60% of it already found. And we think the rest of it is just a matter of discovery. It's a lot. It's a lot of work for like 3 people. There's your car again. We'll drive it for a little while. That's where we're sending you. This is actually a Toyota prototype. I don't know what year this is going to be, but I'm sure my kids are going to love it. Next one. But today I really changed it up because I wanted to talk to you about Wi-Fi, because you all are obviously in the PC club. We have an interest somehow in personal computers and Wi-Fi. So this, and it's interesting because when I found this information, it was interesting because Wi-Fi actually came out in August of 1999. That was about the time you put fiber in the ground, which is really forward-thinking, right? In 1999, there weren't communities or even large cable operations putting fiber in the ground like you all did. You know, the people in 1994, 95, the TV Services Committee that came together and put this in place, it took them 5 years to do it. It cost them $17, $18 million in 1999, which is about $35, $36 million in today's dollars, but very forward thinking. But it's interesting that Wi-Fi was actually just a brain, and the funny thing I thought was, it was just a pun. Because remember back in those days, if you had a hi-fi stereo, you were like the coolest, right? And they were trying to stick with hi-fi, but somehow they switched it to Wi-Fi, and the name stuck. So I thought that was kind of an interesting story. And whoever Phil Bellinger is, he's definitely the smartest guy in the room. So we thank those kind of people for bringing this forward. So we'll talk about Wi-Fi. Again, it was commercially introduced in 1999. 1999, you got 11 megabits per second. Like, you couldn't even imagine that today, right? Remember when you hear the fax machine kind of noise? That's about what they were experiencing back then. 11 megabits per second, and of course we have different protocols for each Wi-Fi. So we can see where we've come since we bought that old car. So let's take a look at the next one. So today everything's used, using Wi-Fi 6. And Wi-Fi, it's just a faster way for your devices to talk to one another and to talk to you. Make sure that your security cameras are working properly, that your PCs are working properly, your printer is working properly. But we're already at Wi-Fi 6 now, and that was introduced, 2018 was really when it became popular. So now, we're going to go to Wi-Fi what? 7. So Wi-Fi 7 is the 7th generation, and it's going to be 3 times faster, and it's going to be up to 30 gigabits per second. That's, for us, that's just like Jetsons kind of stuff, right? The kids are probably going to have 100, 1,000 at some point a gig, but this is 30 gigs throughput, and they're probably going to refer to it as Wi-Fi extremely high throughput. So it's going to be Wi-Fi EHT. So that's what you're going to start to see on many Wi-Fi devices. Is it EHT compatible or certified? And that's something we'll be talking about and how important that's going to be. Next one. That's what we hope to bring you. That is the Eero router. It's Wi-Fi 7. It has multiple Ethernet connections. If you're like Gary and you're going to have it hardwired throughout your home, we have a solution for that. This will cover, go ahead, Gary. This will cover your entire home. Like I mentioned, the large homes there on the way to Laguna Beach, they're about 2,300 square feet, and the single family homes, there might be a 2,500 square foot, a 2,600 square foot, and we probably put a mesh into that. But the rest of you, that Wi-Fi router that we just showed you, if you can go back to that, Gary, the Eero again. I just want to show you this. You're just going to have it placed, just like wherever your cable modem and router is today. This is what's going to go next to that ONT I told you about. So the optical network terminal is going to connect to fiber. Your fiber is going to connect to this Eero router, and then you're going to have complete Wi-Fi in your home. And it's going to cover more than enough in your home. And then what this does is it enables you to just, have multiple bandwidth. This obviously shows you all the different devices. I'm sure if you counted up how many devices you have in your home. And I actually talked to a friend about it. We were just having a dinner, and he started searching on his network how many devices he had. And I said, yeah, most people have about 32 devices. I guess he didn't trust me, so he looked it up, and he had 33. And so I thought, well, it's close. But the average person has about 30 to 32 devices. Next one. We talked about smart TVs. This will be critical when we start talking about the programming and video solution we have. You all are adopting all of these technologies just as fast as 18 to 35-year-olds. So that's basically the next couple of slides. I think you all especially know that I think this is the fastest growing technology group in the world. You have time, some of you have money, and you can do the things that, that the rest of the world don't think you're doing, but we know you are. You have smart TVs, you have printers and PCs and Macs and smartphones and everything else that goes with it. So this is just a bunch of data that I had collected. All the group of 65 individuals are, pacing with our young 18 and 35-year-olds when you talk about technology. Keep going. I'll kind of get you through it. Yeah, so even here, as of last year, 97% of 18 to 29 were using, some kind of using the internet. Well, you're only at 88%, 65 and over. We know that people are living longer. So the 19 to say 105, 90 to 105, they probably aren't using it as much, but we definitely know that as people approach that 65-year mark, they're using and adopting technology as fast as an 18-year-old. We all know that. Next one. And what are you using? Teledoc, right? Remember we talked about this last time? COVID was really difficult on all of us, and we're still suffering and still have repercussions from it. But what we learned during COVID is that one, we need a way to get a hold of our doctor or find medical help in some way. So COVID brought what? Medical information to your doorstep, or actually to your laptop. It also taught us that we need to be social, right? So then we started doing virtual meetings and virtual calls with our family and friends. So that was something as well. Keep going. So, this is going to, telehealth is going to be a big thing in the future. I've seen it in my family where we didn't go to the doctor. We just talked to probably a physician's assistant, and they kind of diagnosed you, and then they can do a prescription or something like that without having to leave the house. So this will continue to happen. This is a totally different subject, but I wanted to talk to you about Wi-Fi, the internet. So why we're doing this is a couple of things, right? We already mentioned we have equipment in the ground that's been 25, 30 years old at times. We have programming cost. All these wonderful channels you get cost a lot of money. And I think you've read in the newspapers, if you get a newspaper, in social media, how expensive all these networks are monopolizing their content, and they're saying, nope, if you want ESPN, guess what? You're going to take every Disney kids program we provide as well, and you're going to take every Disney network that we broadcast, and you're going to bundle it and make you pay for everything that you'll never watch ever again. You only watch 10 to 15 channels, right? So it's difficult to continue this trend. We're in 2029. If we were to continue this, and I have a feeling this is conservative, you're talking like $9 million just in programming costs. So sooner or later, and people have done it. Your kids, your grandkids have done it. They cut the cord. Why pay, you mentioned $170 across the street for video, for programming. Why pay that when you only watch 10 or 15 channels? So this is kind of the streaming stuff we've been talking about in the last few years, and Gary's going to do a wonderful job in putting together, the smart TV workshops. But these are all the things that are out there. Our concern 2 years ago was to just provide you internet, the best internet on the planet, and just say, okay, now go sign up for whatever you want, because the community cannot afford $9 million for you to watch 10 channels. That was going to be difficult because, now we're going to have to really train everybody. Oh, well, do you get YouTube TV? Do you get Philo? Do you get Hulu? And all these other challenges. So we're trying to bring you a television format. Again, that just tells you again that how much you use the internet and how you use streaming TV. But when I talk about programming, and what I'm going to mention to you eventually is our streaming platform. But I want to get through these slides real quick. So YouTube TV, you can watch. I've had people say, hey, I was supposed to watch something at 7 o'clock and maybe our video server wasn't working or something wasn't timed properly. I'm like, you can watch it on our YouTube channel anytime you want. You don't have to wait till Thursday to watch Friends, Cheers, Happy Days. Now you can watch it whenever you want. So our YouTube channel now has nearly 6,000 subscribers. I encourage you to subscribe. It has all our wonderful programs. It has your program as well. And then we also have an app now. So that app, if you have a smartphone, go to the App Store. Don't search Village TV. Search Village Television. You'll see our app. You download it. You click on it. And right now you would be able to watch what's on Channel 6, which isn't Channel 6, right? Because channels are non-existent now. Village Television. So I encourage you to do that, because once we get into this new platform, you're going to have Netflix, right? How many have Netflix? Okay, that's good. Apple TV or Peacock? How about Max Plus? Yes.
What?
Which one?
Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime, right? So on your smart TV, you're going to have those, you're used to those, right? So you're going to see those logos, and next to it, you're going to have Village Television. So you can, on your smart TV, just click on that, and watch whatever you like. Watch our channel during that stream. So that's really what it's going to look like as we start to share this content information for you. Next one. This is what got us here. The Broadband Group had done many studies and gave us scenarios as to what we should do with our system. Sunset the cable plant. We're almost there. It's getting dark. Sell the cable system. You had two offers from Cox Communications in the last 30 years. Both of them were really bad. And they would be the only one here because Spectrum, Frontier, if they're still in business, would never step into somebody else's footprint. We're just a little lake around all of Cox Communications. So Cox was the only one. We would own and build another network, or we would partner and lease. So the GRF asked us to, after many studies, Mr. Hopkins is in the back, he was part of this process, it was important that we partner and lease with the right provider, and the most important thing was we didn't want to lose control of the network. Wanted to partner with somebody, but we weren't going to give away the entire store. So what we're going to do is partner and lease management of the fiber network. So what does that mean? It's the construction and the fiber network that we talked about. It's going to take about 16 to 18 months to build. And once it's built, they'll come into your home, take your cable modem and router will now be ancient history. At some point, you do whatever you want with that because you paid for it through West Coast Internet. The ONT and the router, the eRow router, are now the customer premise equipment in your home that your provider will put in, no cost to you, and get you all the Wi-Fi that you want, or all the Wi-Fi that we offer you. So that's one of the biggest, things that we wanted was we have skin in the game. We own the network. It's our network. You own the equipment. And when we go to renew, new equipment, faster speeds, that way their incentive is to continue to do an incredible job and to provide the technology and hardware that keeps up with the demand of our community. So that was a really good thing to do. What do we have next? Anything good? This is a good one. How many of you know how much you pay West Coast Internet? Okay, good. Most of the time I ask people, they just look blank. So these are their offers now, right?
Yeah.
So some of you paid $75 a month for 500 megabits. How many are paying for that? So we had 2, 3. How about 250? Okay. Okay, this is going to be fill up the room. 125, yeah. And then some of you are down to 65, right? And some of you are grandfathered because you're like, well, wait a second, mine's not up there. Well, West Coast Internet didn't want to upset everybody when they changed to a DOCSIS system and went to these other rates, so they left you where you were at 30 megabits and 5 megabits. That's well below the FCC requirement for high-speed internet. It's not high speed, it's slow speed. So our challenge is to get you all of this wonderful stuff, because I'm hoping a lot of you are thinking like, okay, well, how much is this going to cost us? What's it going to cost me? The construction, I can't really talk about exact particulars. We're almost done with finalizing the agreement, and in the next 30 days you'll have an announcement and who the provider is. But I can tell you generalities in cost and services. We want to make sure that the community, if you're paying $70 right now for internet and television, then we want to make sure it's somewhere around there, right? If we come back and say, okay, it's all wonderful, but now your assessment is now, $120. Well, I'll go live across the street and go have Cox steal my money. So the challenge was to get your internet service at the level we want and a price we want. We had talked about doing tiers similar to this. I suggested we don't want to do tiers. Give them the best available service you can. Everybody will be happy. everybody's going to have more than enough speed. The offer is, I'm prefacing this because until we have an agreement, and it's been announced, we're going to be offering 2,000 megabits per second. It's 2 gigs. It's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times faster than what you're offering now. The key is it's symmetrical. Does anybody know what that means? What is it? It's up and down. A lot of you are using 5, 15, 30, 25 megabits up. This is symmetrical. 2 gigs up and down. Go home, email, text your kids, say we're looking at 2 gigs symmetrical in our community. What's it going to do? It's going to be a better Wi-Fi experience for you all. Wi-Fi is like electricity now, right? You switch it, you expect it to be on and working. Wi-Fi is going to be is exactly the same thing. It's a utility now. It's important. We're going to offer that at this point for $40 a month. That is about $120 to $150 more than what the market is offering today, if you can even get 2 gigs of service. So that's going to be $40. And it's interesting too. If you add up all your subscribers in West Coast Internet and you throw in all that money in the pot that you pay every month, the average person pays $41. So it was kind of planned and strategic to keep those costs the same, but very fortunate too to be able to keep that where it's at. So that's the internet part. We're all good with that. Everybody's happy. Can't wait for what I would say about third quarter of next year. Everybody's going to be really happy. Yes, ma'am.
I'm just wondering, 5G and there's
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, why did you go the
Right.
wired way instead of the unwired way?
So her question, and we've heard this question many times, right? Why don't we go with 5G or some wireless solution? Right, Marie? I can't be Marie Collins. Remember we talked about that? The wireless solution? Yeah. Right. So Marie asked this question as well. First of all, 5G, it does not mean 5 gigabits. It means 5th generation. That's it. So, and there's a 6 now, 6th generation, but it has nothing. People get confused and think it means 6 gigs. So why am I going to? Yeah, okay. But fiber still needs to go. How do you think those cell sites are getting their information out to the internet? It's not wireless. Every one of those cell sites is connected by fiber. So that would be difficult. For one, I don't know if the city would let you put a cell site basically on every single street in this community. I mean, unless I've tried Verizon, I've tried T-Mobile, AT&T I did not try, it wasn't offered in my neighborhood, and the cell is actually high, and it's probably about 600 yards from my house. It was terrible, and it really was. So that technology just isn't here yet, because people ask, well, why don't we let Elon and Starlink just douse the entire planet with Wi-Fi? Well, for one, the technology is not fast enough to support all of us, and it's just not stable enough. Amazon's doing the same thing. They put up satellites in the last year, hundreds and hundreds of them, because Amazon wants to be your pharmaceutical, wants to sell you groceries, wants to sell you shoes, and wants to sell you internet. They have a captive market. The Eero is an Amazon product. That's a router. So the wireless solution is just not. I think maybe my grandkids or great-grandkids maybe might have that experience, but still, fiber is more stable, and the connectivity is going to be much, much better. Anybody else have another question? Yes, sir.
So the fiber is going to come to the building, but individual units will go out.
No. You will not have copper in your home, hopefully ever again. I was talking to a gentleman, or my friend here, I don't know his name though, about his landline. I mean, people just don't have twisted pairs of copper for landlines anymore. AT&T is no longer supporting it. You will no longer need any of the coaxial cable or copper. You're going to be fiber to the home. That's what it's called. Right now, we're fiber to the curb, and then we turn everything into copper and coaxial cable, and you've got to run cables all through your house. Now, once you have that Wi-Fi unit, you can put your TV on the ground if you want, as long as there's electricity and it runs, and now it'll work for you. So you'll eventually, just like a lot of people have, just like cover that up, and then when you remodel, just pull it out or stucco over it or wallpaper it. Yes, sir.
I have some devices that don't have Wi-Fi. Do these represent ports for them?
Yes, there's 4 ports on the back of those. Yeah, so the question was, he has some devices that he would connect via Ethernet, so he's just going to have to run. And some people do this. They just, when they remodel their house, instead of putting copper and coax, they run Ethernet into a closet, and it's kind of like their patch panel, and then they can run all their technology and equipment out. It is more stable as well. Yes.
I have a serious question.
Yes, ma'am.
Right now, we did it, and we cannot get the boxes. So now it's telling me it's going to be 6 to 18 months just to wait. How are you going to maintain our system? I read the cable guys that had 5 boxes replaced in the last
Yep.
12 months.
Yep.
5.
Yep.
And then I hear where they're all refurbished. So when are we going to actually get this done? And what are you going to do with the interim?
Right.
These boxes?
So her question is, she's had 5 boxes fail in the last year. And honestly, I'm not surprised by that. And just like I mentioned earlier, Motorola no longer supports the TiVo box, which we thought was going to be the next greatest and best thing. No one is using will be using set-top boxes. If you ask your son or daughter, are you going to go get a set-top box? No one's doing that. So the manufacturers are no longer supporting them. So like I mentioned earlier, we found out that Motorola was no longer going to provide the boxes we have in our community. So we went to our vendor in Florida and said, we're going to buy as many of those as we can. And we did. But we have an inventory that will last us maybe 6 months. Eventually, we will tell new residents, like, look, just hang tight. Why go and put in a box? 6 months, a year from now, you're gonna, it's either gonna fail or it's gonna be obsolete. But right. Yes. Just like we're doing today. She's asking how can we continue to support our set-top box people? Just like we're doing today. Just like what's happening to you. We're going to have to go out to your house again, take that box that's failing, give you a new box. It may be refurbished. It may be one of the ones we purchased during that big buy. And that's what's going to happen until eventually we don't have it anymore. It's a technology. It's like, if you came and said, hey, come over here and fix my fax machine, or come, give me a new fax machine. Nobody does that anymore. So we have enough boxes to support our base now and some new residents who may want them. But we see all our set-top box subscriber counts coming down and down and down because you're using other cloud services for your programming, or you're using a Roku, or using some other streaming platform. But to your point, we're just going to continue to refurbish and send out the boxes that we have to support our current customer base, and we believe we can do that for the next year or so. Yes, sir.
The 18-month timeline, and that we expedited if George opened the first
That's a good question. His question was, can we expedite to 18 months? I don't think it can be, but the challenge is getting into every one of your homes. We have to knock on every one of your homes and go inside your home. That's going to be the most difficult part. We're already close to that 18-month because that's really June, right? We haven't even signed a contract yet. We're going to try and get this through as soon as possible. West Coast Internet's contract expires December 31st of 2026. You see where we're going down the road? We need to get this done by October, November of 26. That way we get you a new internet provider, you have a new platform. We're working, even though we've been working very hard with your provider, even though we don't have a signed agreement. We're planning. We have so many marketing and community engagement and training and workshops planned. And you know, today we're talking about door hangers. You know, how are we going to notify you? How are we going to get into your home? How are we going to send you emails? You've seen a commercial, hopefully recently, that says, hey, get a Gmail account. Your comm line is not going to work. Your FEA.net is not going to work. Get a Gmail account. You can take that anywhere in the world. You don't have to be stuck to an email server somewhere. So we're going to work hard to make sure that we're in that. They said 16 to 18 months. We're going to try and get it done 16 months. Yes, ma'am. For broadband? It's interesting you said. She's asking, hey, it already takes like a month for us to come out. I hope that's not the case. I talked to our people today in a meeting, and they said right now the schedule is out 10 days, which to me is still a long time. And it depends what it is. If it's an outage, we'll come out the next day. If you have no television or internet, we know we got to get out there. But a lot of the work that the techs do is this whole set-top box thing. You know, just sending set-top boxes out, sending them back. And we're trying to get out of that and put the work where it should be into the network. Yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah. So his question is, if we start at a certain location, you know, will those people get internet and then the rest of you are going to wait 18 months to get your internet? We're actually going to, it's called the middle mile. We're going to just build that fiber network throughout your community. Then we're going to bring our people in to put in the customer premise equipment. And then those things will start to be activated and tested, especially is important. And then we'll slowly start to light everyone's internet as we start moving along. But there will be a process, a lag. I mean, getting through 13,000 homes. I didn't even mention that we're providing community Wi-Fi throughout. So this whole clubhouse, you're going to be able to go out to the driving range and be on the Wi-Fi. We're going to be doing all the gatehouses. There's a lot of other work. It's not just coming to your home. It's everywhere. So there will be a transition where, hey, well, why is my neighbor that lives over in gate 10, you know, already has internet, and when will you be to my home? Well, it's going to be a process. Yes, sir. His question is, you know, will his old router work or be put to the side? It'll be put to the side. You won't need it. They're going to provide the router for you, a Wi-Fi 7 router that has all the securities and measures for you and subscriber management tools for you, and the fiber networking equipment to make sure you're all set. We have, get one here. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I asked you before, and you were I do not have a smart TV.
Yeah.
And you originally said that one had to be. Then you came back to me and said,
Yeah. Oh, you're the one? Oh, yeah. It was great talking to you.
so where?
She was awesome. So she did, you know, and I told her, I said, well, you know, go spend $120, you know, they're $125, $150 now, but, you know, you can get a smart TV pretty reasonably priced now. Have the grandkids buy you one for Grandmother's Day. So when we first talked about the video program, and I'll tell you, it's DirecTV Stream, okay? So become familiar with DirecTV Stream. We were just going to stream it to you. You don't need you needed a smart TV. I mean, just like do you watch Netflix on that TV? No, you can't.
I have Amazon Prime.
Okay, so, people out there that have, quote, dumb TVs, we said we need to do something for them as well. So every home is going to get 2 of these little Roku Gemini boxes, and you can connect that to that TV as long as it has an HDMI connection, which most of them, any TV built after 2000 has one of those connectors. So that'll solve her problem and anybody else's problem that may have a TV that's, a little bit older. So that helped us quite a bit. Yes, Dick.
What's going to happen with the TV program? What type of TV stations are you guys going to sold now? Also, is there a possibility with streaming that perhaps we get more discount pricing from, let's say, Netflix or Amazon? I don't know if that's at all.
Yeah, so his question is, can we get bulk pricing for Netflix and Amazon, something like that? And the other thing was programming. What kind of programming are being offered? Okay, let's start with programming. Right now, our negotiation is 100 plus channels. You right now have 84 channels on your basic lineup, and let's say 30 or 40 are standard definition and something you could throw up an antenna or a coat hanger and still watch, So it's not the best lineup, but it's what we can provide on the basic channel lineup currently. The channel lineup, I've compared both of them. The channel lineup for this product is incredible. For those of you that miss KTLA and hours and hours of reruns of 2.5 Men, it's coming back. All right? So enjoy all, but their news program, a lot of people like their personalities and their news show in the morning. So the channel lineup is much better, I can assure you that. He wanted to know the price. The price is less than what you're paying today for programming. Yes. And again, we're talking about 2027 because we're going to build in 25 and 26. And I'm quoting you prices 2 years from now. I don't know how many tariffs we're going to go through during that time, but it's going to be, those are the prices that we're agreeing to. The other thing is that we've done a lot of work to protect the Golden Rain Foundation, and especially obviously you, because it's your pocketbook. Right now, you're averaging about 8 to 10% increases in programming every year. Compound that. We wish our investments were that good. We put a cap on pricing for programming at 5%, which is reasonable considering some of the negotiations I've seen. And your internet can only go up 2% per year. So my first question was, how often do you raise that? He said, we've never raised it in a community that we service. And I believe him. So those are really good safeguards to have. And there's a lot of other things that you'll hear about as we start to roll this out it's very beneficial to you. Also, there's no data cap.
If I could, let's try to just take a couple more questions and taper it off in about 5 minutes.
Okay.
Good to start.
Yes, ma'am.
I was told that on demand is the possible to get it, so I have a phone for it. I have to have to
So when you say on demand, you mean by your set-top box?
Well, no, then I have it
Oh, from another property, yeah. Yeah, we would no longer have set-top boxes. You all are going to get cloud service. So you're just going to have your recordings up in the cloud, and you just watch whatever you like. No boxes, and no rental for boxes. So for those of you that have 5 boxes, 3 boxes, I mean, geez, that's like $60 probably. Well, you won't even, there's no charge or rental for these boxes that we're mentioning to you. Every home's going to get 2. Yes, sir.
Just follow me up. So instead of having a DVR saved living on the cloud,
Yeah.
that we can save what we want and what you get.
Yes, sir. He was mentioning DVR again. Let me get just 2 more questions then. Or Bill had a question, or you had a hand up.
Yeah, Paul. I assume you're pretty
Yes.
this process.
Yes.
Right now, what is the tentpole in starting this project? What is the thing that has to get done before we start that?
We need to sign an agreement.
And how close are you?
I was half a page away about an hour ago. So we're really close. It's about 100 pages. So we just had some fine tuning to do regarding, just making sure it's mutual. This is marriage. We just want to make sure everybody's happy. And if we're not happy, we're all going to go our separate ways, happy.
So does GRF board have to okay this?
Yes, so the question was, does the GRF board have to okay this? So I'll tell you the process, or what we hope to be the process. We have a broadband ad hoc committee that's been working very closely with us for the last 3 years. Some of you here know and been a part of that process. We'll go to the broadband ad hoc committee with that contract and make a recommendation of their endorsement. Go to the GRF finance committee. They're the ones with the checkbook. How are we going to take care of all this? We've already kind of worked in the background regarding this. It's going to go to the GRF board, and it's also going to go to the corporate members. And that's important because that's everybody's buy-in. It's not just GRF wagging the tail. It's all of us working together saying this is the right solution. We have to get that done in the next 30 days. If we can get the contract signed May 1st, we'll actually in the background be working, and then probably late June, July, you'll see trucks. That's when we're out in the neighborhood and we'll start the actual construction. Last one real quick. Yes, that's a former director. Is the money coming from reserves? That's the anticipation that we've been told, that we will take the money from reserves. And how finance and the GRF finance department or a committee decides how much and what and how we repay it, it's pretty much figured out. Actually, Monday they're having a meeting. I just can't, I'm not going to speak for the GRF finance committee. We're having a meeting on Monday. They could just tell us, now we decided we're not going to do this. Okay, won't do it. It's up to them. If this doesn't get approved, then we just won't do it. Yes, ma'am, last one? Yes.
One suggestion is that when we get to the point where we're done with the routers, if there's a plan in place to recycle those, so we know where to take them or to fix them up.
Yeah, that's been she asked, what do we do with, well, for one, your equipment that you bought from West Coast Internet, that's yours. So how you dispose of your TV and all these other things in your home is going to be your responsibility, and I think the city actually has an electronic something. The set-top boxes, that's still a challenge for us, and we usually just put them in giant pallets until they get this high, and then we give them to our warehouse and they go and sell it for scrap metal somewhere. So that'll probably be the process. I thank you very much for your questions especially, and for having me today. I really appreciate it.